All right. So I'm thinking welcome as everybody is coming in and connecting. And let me make sure, yeah, my video's on, my thing is on. All right, so as you come in, will you just make sure that you are muted? So there is going to be a lot of noise and stuff like that. So I'm just making sure that everybody gets muted. You can choose whether or not you want your video on or not. That's fine. I'm going to be sharing a screen, and so hopefully I will figure out how to make it so I kind of like, I'm the one in the picture so we don't get distracted by everybody else, because there is a lot of stuff going on. So you can choose to have your video on or not, but welcome, welcome. So glad you guys are here. And this is crazy because we have been working on all of our Orphan projects and stuff. And so it's been a good little bit of time. Hopefully, I know a lot of you were stuck amongst work and stuff, but we're able to fit all of this in. So, you know, the assignments weren't too terrible, I guess, but there's been a lot of rumbling going on in there and a lot of work getting done. And it's so much fun to see you guys doing that. So I am going to share my screen. Let's see here. All right. Okay. I think that is good. So I kind of, just for the last little bit, was collecting pictures from the group. And, oh, yeah, let me preface this to, hold on just 1 minute here. I'm going to make it bigger a little bit. And then, so I just want to make sure that as everybody's coming in, you can say hello, you can keep yourself on mute if you don't mind, but there is a chat option that you are more than welcome to use. So please use the chat option in the Zoom area. So then I can kind of see all of the questions if there are any. So as like we go along here, we're going to be talking about a few different things, but if you have any questions, please just drop it in there. And let's see. Good morning. Yes, Ellie. So Ellie's found the chat. Welcome, welcome. And I'm going to push this over to the side a little bit. But yes, welcome. And thank you for using the chat. So, and from Missouri, welcome. Yes. So if anybody else wants to chime in and say welcome, this is a great way to understand how the chat works in here. So with all of this health stuff, everybody's been using Zoom, and I cross my fingers that you guys, it's kind of gets a little bit to get going on it. But once you get it, you know. But once you use that chat, you know where it's at. And yes, so welcome to everybody. Karen, let's see, OKC, Georgia is Joni, Sharon from Northern Idaho, welcome. And Marilyn from Florida. So far so good. Looks like everybody's all coming in. And then if you do have any questions as I move forward, please let me know. So today, again, I'm going to stop my screen really quick. Today, we're kind of closing down the OPC, and it's been an incredible journey, and I'm so grateful that you guys have joined me in this. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself, taken the time to celebrate your progress, everything that you've done, and whether that's, you know, cleaning a shelf, organizing fabric, sewing rooms, I've seen a few of those, or working on projects, no matter what it is, it has been wonderful to see. So it's been fun to see everyone when we did our little meetups, and you've been sharing, and also that you've taken the time to encourage each other and be supportive. Karen says, sad to see the end of the project session. I know. We're going to talk about, like, you know, what this looks like moving forward as well. You know, not even just keeping this mojo kind of going and your enthusiasm and excitement, but also like what are the options as well. So big shout outs to a few of you, and I'm gonna have to look at my list. So we've got like Marilyn, who is using blocks from 2 quilts to complete 1 quilt, which is awesome. Whoop, whoop. And I love it when things like that match up and get together perfectly like that, because they just sitting around doing nothing, and then together they make a great quilt. So that's awesome. And also you shared a few of your storage ideas, which was really helpful. So thank you for that. April, showing off your finished quilt and excitement for moving to the next project on your list. So that's awesome. Moving down the list. Yes. Carol, your zipper bags. Oh, they were Dr. Seuss ones, and they're super, super cute. Let's see. This little get together is going to last about like an hour, probably less than that. So there's going to be some Q&A right at the end. So if you would like, if you have any questions, drop them in that chat again. But, you know, I thought it would be great to cover some ideas on how we keep our momentum and our sewing projects going and moving forward. And this is, again, really we're focusing on the process of it and progress, not necessarily like that finished mandatory, you know, feel good because you finished everything, which it does, but you know, it's moving everything forward. Ellie says, I finished 3 small wall hangings, 2 charity quilts, hand stitching the binding on all of them now. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is an incredible. You seriously, like, I'm in charge of this and you've done more than me. So I love it. I think everybody's done more than me, which, you know, it's not that hard. Anyways, okay, so I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to get started. So I'm going to show the I'm going to pop the, what do you call it? The chat over on the side, so I can make sure if there's any questions that I can either answer them along the way, or we're going to as I cover things, or, you know, at the end. So I know that there are, but, you know, if you are just popping in here, say hi, welcome, that would be great as well. All right, so this is the projects that I've seen so far. Not so far, but these are a few that I picked up and grabbed and put in here. So you guys are making some awesome progress. We've got some finished, we got some in progress, we've got storage ideas. So it has been a lot of fun to see what everybody has been working on for the last, let's see, 15 days or so. And of course, your tracking sheets. So I hope that you guys, you know, if you found this helpful, you can say yes. But it's been a lot of fun watching these tracking sheets come in, and they've got different dates of when you started it. But then, like, you know, watching them being striked off is an awesome feeling. I don't know what it is about lists and marking things off, but I love it. So you probably feel the same way. So today we are covering 10 ways to keep those sewing projects moving forward. And, you know, this has been a great momentum starter, but it's like, what comes next once this challenge is kind of officially over? So if you can relate to any of these, give a yes, or, you know, drop in your own frustration or whatever. So you feel left out. You seem to find yourself sewing alone all the time. You aren't sure how to keep your sewing momentum going while you're moving along right now. You feel overwhelmed coming back, and that happens all the time. No one understands your quilty excitement for all things fabric and notions and rulers. That's me. You dread digging around the internet looking for your next project. Your local groups are too far away and don't fit your schedule. So those are, you know, can you relate to any of those? or all of them. You know, what does that look like for you? So you're in the right place because you're looking for inspiration, encouragement, moving projects forward. Still, you need a plan, projects, and a calendar to keep you on track. Or maybe you're wanting to participate in a quilting community and a group. You want and need quilting support and encouragement. Who doesn't love that? You're looking for other quilters and friends who understand your love of all things quilting. So that is what this has been part of. You want to explore new techniques, designs with all the internet hunting and frustration. You want to grow as a quilter, not only learn from others, but help support and encourage them as well. So becoming the encouragement and guide for others. So this is kind of what the agenda is for the next little bit. A little bit about me and my quilting journey. Then we'll go over those 10 ways of keeping those sewing projects moving forward. I've got a quick overview of the IAQ, which I will go into later, but it's my online quilt group. I've got a few joining bonuses that I'll review, some current member spotlights, our calendar, and then at the end, I will most definitely have some Q&A for anybody that has questions. So this is the start of me. Oh, Joni. Okay, I'm going to interrupt myself all the time, guys. I just do this. My husband made the comment last night, he wishes the model railroads would do this. He gets in slumps with his modeling as well. Joni, he should start it himself. Do you think like that? I think that would be awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Really, for any kind of thing of art, you do become a little overwhelmed, overdone, maybe burnt out. And so these things definitely help. So this is my job. I help quilters go from sewing alone and sewing the same old patterns, right, to connecting with others while exploring new techniques, new patterns, and designers. So you'll find encouragement, excitement, you'll build friendships with other quilters all around, all the while completing quilts along the way. So your year-round support, because this one is like supported in sporadic moments of our challenge, but year-round support and guidance you need with a community of quilters you will love. So a little bit about me. I know you guys know just a titch, or maybe not very much, and you just popped into this challenge most recently, and you're like, I just knew it was a great idea and wanted to do this. So this is my journey really quick. I started sewing at age 8, and I'm looking for something. I'll show you really quick. I believe this is something I made when I was young. And I have another little sampler as well. So it's into hand stitching, and made my first quilt after my first baby, which is, of course, very similar to a lot of you guys' journeys. And if that is the same for you, so you dove into sewing quilting after your first baby, you can give me a yes or a thumbs up. So I started, this led me into starting my Patchwork Posse blog back in 2007. And then growing into the Patchwork Planner to help keep my projects organized, and then added a yearly calendar and pocket edition 3 years ago. Following other people's patterns was not my favorite, and I tended to always move things around and add my own touch and played with design. So after designing patterns, working with fabric companies as far as like sewing samples and stuff, Moda Bake Shop in Andover, I explored the option of an online group in 2014, starting with quick classes with designers like Bonnie Hunter, Pat Sloan, and others. My favorite part is watching those quilts that I've designed come to life with your own personal design and influence. And of course, our charity quilts that I'll speak of later. So that is, you know, a roundabout sort of way my love of quilting evolved into loving the quilters, which means you. What's blossomed from those initial classes was the love of building a community around the projects, and thus I started the IAQ, which is a kind of a virtual version of an in-person quilt group, keeping it simple for all quilters, allowing them to explore new techniques, designers, styles, was what it was all about. Removing that overwhelm that I felt when I was exploring these myself. Like I needed partners in crime kind of with this. My favorite part is watching those quilts come to life, of course, with your own personalities, which I love. So I'm all for switching up the colors, not using kits, and making things in your style and in how you love them to be. So now that we've come to the end of our challenge, like I totally had a, I don't know what I'm talking about there. So now that we've come to the end of the challenge, we're kind of like looking, we've got this great momentum going, and I thought it would be awesome to kind of going over 10 ideas for working on your sewing projects, either again or keeping them moving. So you've done a great job at building that foundation so far, but moving forward, it can be a little bit tricky. These are short, these are sweet, and so let's just dive in. So the first one is keep them top of your mind. So put them somewhere they won't get lost and out of your sight. That goes for the ones that you are wanting to currently work on. There was just a comment or somebody shared, and I can't remember who it was, and I just commented on them, how they had organized their sewing room and they put all their Orphan projects on one display. So they knew where they were, and actually they said, I can grab and go. And I love that idea. So keeping them top of your mind, not allowing them to get lost into the shuffle of piles, right? Second one, use those tracking sheets like the one from the OPC. Make up your own if you need. I've seen them in composition books, or print off what you need. Use 3-ring binders. Post it near your sewing machine area. So you have 2 versions if you need, one with the project and one near your sewing machine. So you know just what you can work on when you've got a few minutes here and there. So you're not like shuffling around, I don't know what my next step is. You have it right there. The third one is prep ahead. This takes a little bit of brain power, but it is a great way for making little progress along on your project. So make your own quilt kits, pre-cut what you need, gather your materials, having everything on hand ready to go makes working on them all that much easier. I've noticed that in the last little bit, I like to cut out my blocks, and I'm just looking to see if I have one. I do. I like to pre-cut my blocks, and then I tend to sit them on the piece of paper with the pattern. So here is all my cut pieces, and then the pattern is right underneath. And I stack those up right next to the sewing machine. So when I've got a couple minutes to spare, I know all the pieces are there. They're typically laid out in the fashion that I need if they are ready to go. But yeah, prep ahead, making quilt kits, pre-cutting makes a lot of difference and does help in moving forward. It relieves a lot of the overwhelm. If you guys have any comments or any ways that, any ways that you do things to keep your projects going, I would love to hear them. So go ahead and drop them in the chat if you'd like. Ellie says, cutting everything at once is a great tip. I never did this, but my daughter taught me to do it, and boy, do I get more done faster. Totally. And I don't necessarily, I do like blocks at a time. So I'll have like 3 or 4 blocks cut and piled up. So then if they get spilled, oh my gosh, what a mess. So I don't tend to keep a huge pile because of that reason. But Yeah, pre-cutting makes a big difference. Number 4, have a plan for the project once it's done. Is it a special occasion, a person, is donation? Having a purpose for it besides in the quilt top pile helps get it moving a little quicker. Putting a deadline on it, but having a purpose really, even if it's a donation purpose. So I've got a donation coming up of 3 quilts, and they need to be done by July sometime. I'm not sure when the pickup date is. I have 1 complete. I need to finish the other 2. And so having a plan or a deadline or something that you can meet helps move it along because it's a purpose for it. Whether that's even to hang it on the wall, give as a gift, or whatever. That's why we tend to have a lot done in the holiday season, because those projects have a purpose. So it does help. Number 5, here we go. Have more than 1 project to choose from at a time. So this one sounds a little counterproductive, but having more than 1 allows you to pick and choose which project you're going to work on, making working on it not so much as a chore and sore spot. So, you know, looking at your pile of projects, you can feel a little bit of overwhelm. But if there is a few of them in there, you can review them, check them out, and pick the project that you want to work on for the day or the time being, or until they're finished. So that does help because it like excites you a little bit. You're like, oh, I'm not sure which one I want to pick, you know, but then as you look through them, you get excited about what the option is. And sometimes it's all about getting things done quicker. So if you see a project that's a little closer, or it's already pre-cut, those tend to be the ones I work on because they are ready to go and I don't have to think about much. So more than 1 project to choose from at a time. And so you have permission as well to have more than 1 orphan project. Okay, so there that goes. Okay, number 6, here we go. Get others to help you out. Are there more than 1 blocks that needs to be finished? Can you have some friends or other quilters make them for you? You can return the favor with one of their projects as well. I've done this a couple times. We have, I've gotten together with a few friends and we just pass the project around and everybody works on a few things and then sends it back, and I get inspired to make progress on it myself. Whether you get together in person, which is slim pickings right now, or you can drop them off and kind of do a little bit of a round robin. But the round robin is not to start a new project. The round robin is based on finishing or moving those projects forward for someone else. That one's a lot of fun. And it breaks up the monotony and, you know, the overwhelm and everything else. Number 7, schedule it out. Put the project aside, but have a clear schedule of when will you be picking it back up and starting it again. Sometimes taking a little break is what you need. What tends to happen though is that break becomes longer and longer and longer. And you start rolling your eyes at the project. You start feeling overwhelmed by the project and not really inspired by it. So putting it aside is a great plan, but having a clear schedule of when you will be picking it back up is even better. So I know there are a few, and maybe you do this as well. I would love to hear what you guys do. But there's a few who are like, okay, in July, this is what I am sewing. I'm working on these 3 projects during this time only. And it still allows you to pick and choose, but it keeps it on schedule and gets you over that dreaded and kind of guilty feeling of having the projects and not making progress. So make sure when you set it aside, you don't bury it under the pile. That's the other thing. Marilyn says, I've always had more than one project going at the same time. Yes, Marilyn, I can't help it, but I will tell you, I have 2 quilts started and 2 sewing strips together. And started sewing strips together, and now not sure which pattern it goes with. Oh, I was trying to use my jelly rolls, and I'm using the jelly roll quilts in a weekend. I don't know how I can help you there, Marilyn. I think I do that all the time, is like you set things down. And I tend to keep big bags for my projects because, yeah, because I stuff all the pieces back in, but that doesn't help it at all. So I guess maybe what should happen here, Marilyn, is, or what we can learn is not to cut out or work on 2 quilts that are the same pattern, because yeah, they would get all jumbled up. Oh my gosh. Tell us how that goes and how you figured it out. Jane says, farmer's wife, I'm in the eye rolling state. I hear you, Jane. I think I've started that one a couple times, and I think it's in a Ziploc baggie somewhere. And then I think somebody spilled hot cocoa on it. So I'm not sure if I actually kept it or if I threw it away. But yes, that one is tedious, I do have to say. A lot of people with those, and I think this is one of the ideas coming up maybe, or mentioned. Oh, Ellie says, label as you cut, label, label, label. See, I jump around and forget. Marilyn, label those. If that is at all helpful or too late right now. But with the farmer's wife and other projects that are like super tedious, have a lot of parts, I know following a quilt along or somebody that is sewing along, whether that is your local quilt group or an online quilt group, like the IAQ or you know, others out there. I know there's designers out there who do sew alongs based on the larger pattern. And so, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. The other thing is look for accountability partners, because even though you're sewing by yourself and you're not in a group that is tackling that whole project, you can be like, okay, this is my goal, and you can have accountability partners, even if it's with yourself. Okay, every Monday I'm checking in Facebook and I'm saying this is what I've worked on, or you know, moved forward, whether that's to finish a block or just cut it out. So yeah, those larger quilts that are tedious are a little tricky to keep going. Jane asked, how did someone spill on it? Oh, I think we were camping. And so, you know, I was working on it because I think the Jane, farmer's wife, oh, mine was Dear Jane. Okay, so mine was Dear Jane. It was hand blocks, or, you know, there's handwork on the blocks, and I took that camping, and the hot cocoa got there. Yeah, that's mine. So I'm not really sure where those are. I know they're in a bag. I'm afraid that if I didn't clean it, that bag is probably hideous at this point. So I don't know what I did with it. All right, moving on. Number 8. These are all suggestions of greatness, guys, so keep them coming. Thank you. Number 8, make something else instead of what you intended to do. So this is all about just finishing it. It doesn't matter if it's like what you started with. So switch things around, move the blocks, add a border, do something different and unexpected. Don't follow that pattern at all, or pick and choose what you will follow. So sometimes, you know, I'll give some examples of this. No, I mean, how did you get so lucky? Jane, that's my excuse of not moving forward, right? Oh, I had to throw it away because it was moldy from hot cocoa. Oh my gosh. Jane, this number 8 is for you, okay? Make something else. So I've done this multiple times. I have finished 6 of the 12 blocks in this block of the month. Am I ever realistically going to ever finish those other 6 blocks? Is it in fabric that I love? No. Was it from 1982 in, you know, dusty rose? Yes. Did it have a horrendous flower pattern? Yes. Is the fabric so starched that I think it's going to fall apart when I finish it? Or not necessarily that bad, but, you know, does it have a lot of sizing in it? So I question it. Do I really want to make any more blocks? Absolutely not. But this pile is giving me guilt. So what I have done is decided to make something different. I either put the blocks together, no sashing, and finish it. Depending on the size, can become a baby quilt, a donation quilt. It can become a table topper. It can become something that I put in the car and we use all the time. And I don't care if it like goes to dust, because it's not something that I am absolutely in love with. And so Jane, here's yours. You know, maybe you make something different. I know we set out to do these big goals, and it's very disappointing for ourselves to not complete them. But look at the blocks that you have finished. How many are there? Could you make something super cute that you absolutely love with the blocks? Maybe it's a table runner. Maybe it's a smaller wall hanging and you get to see it every day. So it's hanging on your wall, bringing you joy, instead of stacked in your shelf, making you feel guilty. So just because you started that and you had good intentions does not mean that you need to finish it as what you intended to do. So make something smaller, give it away, you know, just decide what it is that is not allowing you to move forward with it. And if it makes sense, pull it out of the bag, disregard the pattern, and figure out something different you can use it for. And just as, oh, I can't remember her name, and it's not Charmaine, but it's somebody else in the group. But just as she decided to take 2 blocks from 2 different quilts and put them together, they were similar enough that they did the mix and match wonderfully. So that is number 8. Number 9, pass it along. If all else fails, just give it to somebody else. Let the project or the excitement for someone else instead of being a dread for you. Number 9, I call that releasing it back into the wild. Seriously. And in multiple groups that I have been in, we have done orphan project like pass-alongs, okay? And so you put this project in the bag because you don't want to work on it ever again. And then you bring all your bags to your group and everybody draws a number and you end up with somebody else's project. Sometimes this can become so exciting because like it's always funner to do cleaning at somebody else's house or organizing at somebody's house or, you know, chores at somebody else's house rather than our own. So this is kind of like that. There is a way, you know, depending on how you set up your swap or whatever, this could be they finish it for you and it comes back to you all finished and you just love it beyond measure. Or you just give it away and they finish it and do whatever they want with it. So you have a big party with the finishers because, you know, there is a deadline for it to play along, but that one is a lot of fun. But seriously, pass that thing along. Don't worry about number 8 of putting them in a new project to get it finished. If number 9 makes more sense, do number 9 because it feels so much better just to get things out than to have it bother you on your shelf. Release it back into the wild. Yes. And the last, the best of all the game, number 10. Sew with others. Bring that project to a sewing retreat. Sew day with others. Usually sewing with others will get you re-inspired and help you push past that tired frustration points that you may have with that project. So that goes along with not necessarily passing that project along when you're sewing with others, but maybe everybody agrees to bring a project they're stuck on so they can work through that frustration as a collective unit. You know, maybe this project that you bring, you're not sure what fabric to use for the back or for the sashing. Bring all your options, help others decide that for you so you can move forward. There might be somewhere, oh my gosh, I bought this kit. It had a ruler. I'm not even sure how to use this ruler. I can't figure it out even though I've watched 10,000 YouTube videos. bring that to the group, have them help you, because there's always somebody that knows. Always somebody that knows. Welcome, Cindy.
Hi.
Hi, will you mute yourself really quick? And then I've got questions at the end, so if you have any questions at the end, you may.
I'm hiding.
Okay. All right. And part of that sewing with others is joining a quilt group. So whether that is online, virtually, which is what I offer, or if that is in person, which I know a lot of them are doing Zoom classes right now for meetups. My mother is a quilter, and they meet still once a month in a parking lot and open the trunk of their car and have all their projects they've been working on there. So they have a like a literal trunk show, at which she has enjoyed a lot. So exploring options of quilt groups, which I'm going to share a little bit more about mine. But I thought before that I would share some of the comments that have been made in the group that I really enjoyed about getting and keeping that sewing mojo going. So Marilyn says, sometimes I can't stop sewing and then I burn myself out. That is me constantly. I often set a goal and make it a little too high. Yeah, deadlines. Other times I just get in the mood and go, go, go. When I get into a slump, I look for things like this challenge to get me moving again. Oh, and she says, this has been wonderful because I did finish the 52 bags for the Operation Smile. Oh my gosh, high five on that, Marilyn. And although they were not on my list, I pulled out all my leftover blocks and have been sewing them together to make things. I may not finish all the things on my list, but I sure have accomplished quite a bit. I so appreciate that. And I'm so excited. Let's see. You're fine, Cindy, as long as you just don't chit chat. Which I know it's hard. And sometimes it is the pattern, sometimes it is the fabric, sometimes it is the thrill of making something for someone who will love it. Charmaine says that. So those things keep her inspired and moving forward. Which is, yeah, and that was one of the 10 as far as like keeping multiple projects on hand, because you never know what in that pile will inspire you to move forward. I feel overwhelmed if I don't have a plan. So every Monday I decide which projects I work on this week. Lucy's on top of it here. It's only a few items and may just be one step to keep the project moving, like just making the binding, or cut the fabric, or sew 5 blocks. Keeping it simple. I love the Monday decision day. Love that option. Diane says getting together with like-minded friends is a really great way to move ahead on projects. Completely agree with this, Diane. And then she also mentioned I have to start with something simple or something I've done many times before. If I do that, successfully finish it, then I can move on to something a little more challenging. We need that satisfying feeling of completing a project to motivate us. Yes, Diane, totally. And there was one, you know, back in the organization ideas and stuff, and part of that was alternating your projects. So having 2 piles of your project, one with smaller, quickly accomplished projects, one with larger projects. So this would be like your twin size or larger. These would be bags, pillows, table runners, smaller projects. And then alternating what you work on between those 2 piles. That allows you to complete a project which motivates you for sure. So I love that. Julie mentions that she had a longer story in here and talked about a little bit of her background. So you can scroll through the Facebook group and find this comment because it's really good. But quickly to recap it, at the end, she says she made a trip into town because she had been not sewing for quite a while. And so she made a trip into town. She bought a new machine and they were getting ready to do a quilting class. So she signed up and she hasn't looked back since. So after a very long break what got my Sewing Mojo back was a new embroidery machine and taking a class. Now a group of my friends, they get together once a month to sew, craft, quilt, eat, whatever. We help each other keep motivated. I love that. So doing something different, exploring a different technique, whether that is a new embroidery machine or a new long arm machine or just a new, you know, a new machine that is on the lower scale. But trying something different. Taking a class is big, as well as participating in those groups. So Joni says, I've had to take a day to embroider a machine gifts that have deadlines. Yeah, not suggest is necessary, but it works like alternating projects for me. Yes, actually, yes. So I know a lot of people do like some machine sewing in the morning and hand sewing in the evening to break it up. And, you know, choosing different projects that have an embroidery in it, or they have, you know, a cathedral window, which is a totally different block from the typical patchwork blocks, or even a 3D design. So yeah, so you don't need any more fabric. Instead, participating in the community of quilters that will get you sewing instead of collecting. At the end of the year, our IAQ members feel accomplished, proud as you hold your quilts that you have completed. You already love quilting, making quilts, and now the IAQ has a place where you can participate, sew, and complete a quilt. Plus, we have a supportive and inspiring community of quilters. You'll feel at home, even if it's your own projects. So I am going to share a little bit more about my online quilt group. So it's called the International Association of Quilters. It's a group for quilting. It's Quilt Group. It's been going for 6 years. Every Tuesday, we have a new block, a project, or activities that are released. We do have video tutorials, which are helpful. They're under 30 minutes, walking you through the sewing process. We have PDF downloads for all our projects and patterns as we're working on. We cover multiple styles of learning. So there's videos, downloads, images, and the community. So whatever style of learning you enjoy the most, we've got kind of a variety in there to help hit all those little points. We do have monthly live meetups in the Zoom, so very much like this, but we get to share what we're working on, ask questions, check in with each other, and it's been a lot of fun. Wonderful community on the site, and there's access anytime during the day. We do have a private Facebook group, but it's not nearly as active as the community, so you do not need to be a Facebook member to join that. It's always open, our virtual sewing room. So there's been a few tries at meeting up at different times on for members on their own, not just with our monthly meetups. But that is an option for you to set up your own time. We have block of the months and quilt-alongs, and all these pictures that are showing are projects inside the IAQ. So we do have yearly based. We have a few quilt-alongs that start at the beginning of the year. We have a mid-year quilt-along. We're starting a smaller block of the month, finishing it by the end of the year. So there are a lot of options in there, but I'm going to just tell you they are not there to overwhelm you. They are there to give you options and different timelines. Our 2020 block of the months this year, currently we are working on the Seasons of Friendship, which is this first one. 80 by 80 years, there is a smaller version, 47 by 57. Right now, we are just finished our log cabin blocks. So, and we are sewing the center as we move out, which is a lot of fun to see those quilt tops starting taking shape. And then we have our recess quilt, which is an improv quilt. So there is no rules, only inspiration, no cutting guides. It's a little off kilter, and but it's a lot of fun if you want to explore your own ideas, your own design, and a little bit of improv. At the end, there's no true layout. You're just going to play with your blocks until you have a quilt that is you love. So, and that is the recess quilt. We also explore quilting techniques and more. Ellie, where can we find the block of the month pattern? I will tell you, it's in the group. The IAQuilters.com is where it's in that quilt group that I have. So the quilting kit techniques. So along with our quilt projects, we explore different quilting techniques. And this year we're focusing on 3 different ones. We have paper piecing, which is foundation paper piecing, and then quilt as you go. And coming up in a couple months, we have machine quilting on your standard sewing machine. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. They're 4 months long, starting from beginners, testing the waters with more advanced skills. These projects are not big. They are not a king size quilt, okay? These are dipping your toe in a technique or reminding yourself of when you tried it years ago or whatever. And this is just a quick way to learn the technique without the overwhelm of a super mega project. We also have the occasional swap and challenge like this OPC. The Quilting Bees, these are exciting. So quarterly, we have larger activities for all our members to join in if they choose. These have specific themes and projects to choose from. These feature a variety of layouts, designs from modern and traditional. Some of them have techniques, some like embroidery or applique. This Pick a Quilt right now is our next quilting bee, and it is starting soon. Like we just got the materials list for it, but we are having our full sew day in July. So, so these are the 4 projects that we're choosing from, and they are all simple. They're not overwhelming, and plus we have the community to help. We get help from others who have made the quilts prior, but they're all doable for any level of quilter that you are. Our calendar of activities and projects is easy to follow. So every Tuesday, the projects or quilt blocks are released. So our first Tuesday, this year's schedule looks like this, really. Our first Tuesday is our Seasons of Friendship block of the month. Our second Tuesday is our technique focus. Our third Tuesday is our recess block of the month. And then our fourth Tuesday tends to be the Quilting Bees and the monthly live meetups with the Zoom. So that's a lot of fun. We have a community calendar. You can quickly add a reminder to your personal calendar with any of those events and activities that are happening. So it syncs right up to your personal phone calendar. So coming up, we're just looking ahead on our calendar. We have additional activities you can choose from or participate in. Like I said, June, we've got the Pick a Quilt and a all-day sew day in July. We'll also reveal our block mid-year block of the month just around the corner, and the materials list. In July, of course, will be our Quilting Bee all-day sew day and check-ins. In August, our last Quilting Bee will be announced, but it is a mystery, so you don't get to actually see it. And I believe in September is when we sew that. So just around the corner is the new block of the month coming soon. This will start taking place right now with materials, and then in July we'll start our steps. It is not overly complicated. In December we'll have it finished, and I just love, I just made the blue and green one this last week, and it is so cute. So it's not quilted yet, but the one on the left is, and I use it like every night when I'm sitting on the couch because it's just small and lovely. What happens near the end of the year? So during the last part of the year, we'll be finishing up our block of the month. We'll be watching for those tops to be revealed by our members, which is so much fun to see. We'll have year-end show and tell, video meetup, a full day of sewing, check-in just for fun. Excitedly anticipating the reveal of the 2021 block of the month, our technique focuses, our Quilting Bee schedules. It's always so much fun to gather our supplies, prep for those new quilt projects that will be coming the next year. Marilyn says, I really like the blue and green one. I know, it's the Island Batik. So they're batiks. but I love the lime green and the blue mix. Love it. So very different from the traditional, like dirty Civil War version for sure. And of course, like we have a regular monthly layout of activities will continue till the end of the year, occasional activities with the swaps and the challenge. So in the IAQ, you have full access to, so all of the activities that we're currently working on, plus any of the previous classes, like our Quilt As You Go technique focus. You'll have all the designer patterns in the archives as well as other patterns. Journal your quilts and Quilt As You Go class. So those are little bonuses. You'll have access to the video series in addition to the Patchwork Planner, a few additional planners, and that will allow you keeping your projects organized and journaled. And of course, you have access to our awesome community forum and our gallery area. So the gallery area is a lot of fun because you get to see everybody's projects in pictures. So I know there's quite a few of you who might be asking like what the pricing is. $19 per month, $190 for the 12 months if you pay in that option. There's 2 months free, obviously, if you do the full year. So that's incredible. So it's a subscription with auto renewals. You can cancel anytime prior to your renew date to avoid any unwanted billings. So just a quick let you know. And of course, just to put this into perspective, that $19 per month is only 1.5 yards of fabric, depending on what you buy. Now, if it's a yard of minky, that's, you know, that's, so I think you've got enough fabric, but it's just putting it into perspective here. So there's a couple bonuses, like I mentioned before, that's included in the IAQ for you. Journal Your Quilts class. So that has the videos, the PDFs of the Patchwork Planner, additional journal PDFs, and how to make quilt labels. All that is packaged up and available for all the IAQ members. In addition, we did the Quilt As You Go technique class, but this is on top of what we already did in our group. So you get additional video classes, you get additional PDF patterns for 3 projects. So those are our bonuses that are included. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I am more than happy to answer. So of course, we love our members, love our members. I love our members. So I just wanted to highlight a few of what has been coming into the group and a few comments and of previous members. So Penny says, is a fairly new sewer quilter. Having never been involved with the Quilt Guild before, this group was great with information sharing, growing me with new concepts such as mini quilts, stretching and pushing for accuracy, the block swaps. I love that the group is multinational, so ideas flow from everywhere. And that is the thing, it's a virtual group. It does not matter your location. It does not matter what your schedule is. You can pop in there 24/7. This is worldwide and you can participate whatever fits your schedule. And then down below are some blocks. I believe these are the log cabin blocks for the Seasons of Friendship quilt along that is happening. So I believe those are Naomi. She posted those. Sherry mentions the people from this guild are so awesome, from Becky down to the members. Everyone is so nice and helpful, and you better believe it. Quilters are wonderful. So some more, I became a member of the Quilt Guild to, I need to move my chat here, have projects to work on as part of the group and to communicate with other people who share my passion of creating. Yes, that's what it's all about. Finding people who speak fabric, right? Online Quilt Guild is perfect outlet for me with 4 young children and a full-time job. I can work on the projects when it's convenient for me. Still part of something and share my work with others. I have learned from the projects and other members as well. I enjoy the group. And Rosalind says, this site is all sewing level friendly. I don't feel intimidated or left out. And that really is my goal, is to not overwhelm you with I know there's a lot of projects, but giving you a variety to explore. And a variety to explore not only different sizes of projects, but different techniques, you know, introducing you to different designers without having you required to travel. There's no travel in here. You can sew in your pajamas and then meet with us monthly and show off what you have worked on or, you know, moved forward. So it's not about finishing in here either. Our goal is to have you complete a quilt top by the end of the year. Whether you choose how many quilt tops that is and participate in all the block of the months, that's up to you, or all the projects and the quilting bees we have, that's up to you. Or you can sew 1 block at a month and progressively finish that quilt by the end of the year. So that is the goal, 1 quilt top per year. So more highlights, got a question, go to the group. Just finish something, show it off, and enjoy the compliments. Need some quilt love, just scroll through the group's posts and enjoy. That's from Carmen. And these pictures are from our latest Quilting Bee. It was the Holiday Mystery, and it was so much fun. So you could choose fabric depending on the holiday that you wanted to sew or make your quilt in. So these ones are all Christmas related because they're red and green, but there was a Halloween one, which was incredible. Fran says, good projects for both beginner and experienced quilters. Many of the ideas can be used in non-quilt projects, but used with quilting techniques. And Madeline says, this quilt group is very freeing and lots of fun, no competition. Lots of helpful hints and encouragement. So it's very similar to what's been happening inside the OPC, but on a more structured basis. So just to recap, you'll get full access to the Seasons of Friendship block of the month, the Recess block of the month. Both of those are still happening, and we do have catch-up months during the year as well. All quilting bees. So we have 4 per year, and I will tell you what they are. Let's see, we have table tinsel, mini quilt marathon. We've got the pick a quilt, which is coming up super soon, and we have the mystery quilt once a year. So those are so much fun. You'll have full access to the archives of all the patterns, our quilting community, of course, the swaps, monthly video meetups, and don't forget about those bonuses that are included, the Journal Your Quilts class, as well as the quilt, excuse me, Quilt As You Go class. So without that connection and support, you'll struggle to finish that quilt. As you can see how important, like the OPC challenge was, but the group is something a little bit more. You'll continue to get distracted by other projects if you don't have that calendar and support. You probably get lost in your sewing room. You'll probably lose your motivation and keep collecting fabric, right? And patterns that end up never end up completed. So the IAQ gives you permission, purpose, and the resources to sew every day. So we've got time for a little bit of Q&A, and just to remind you, participating in a quilt group just got so easy, right? Online, at your own schedule. And then I did put a link to the iaquilters.com so you can check it out. If you have any questions, whether that be about the Orphan Project Challenge or the quilt group, then please let me know, all right? I am happy to answer anything that you have. And I will give you a quick heads up about the OPC. This group, this Facebook group itself, does not go anywhere. The videos are going to remain in there. The structure is going to remain in there. I might move a few things around, so you might see that coming up. But everything is still there. And if you had a link to the off-site class as well when you joined, then that will stay there as well. So you'll get forever access in here. If when the OPC happens again, you do not need to sign back up. It is included. If you're an IAQ member or decide to join us, that is included in your membership and you will not have to pay for it. So it's part of one of the bonuses, as well as you get to participate in the OPC when it happens a couple times per year. So again, you know, you're more than welcome to continue to watch the videos, continue to participate, continue to check in. I won't be in there as much. I will be checking in probably a little bit like every month for the next little bit. So Joni says, I've decided to put the IAQ membership on my Christmas list. My sons are always asking if I have a list. Yes, Joni, that would be awesome. I would love that. I do not have next year's quilt for the block of the month designed yet, so it's still like rattling around in my head. I got to get it out. But yeah, that would be incredible. That would be so much fun. So I think, let's see, does anybody have any other questions? I'm trying to see if there's anything that you didn't understand, anything that need to be clarified. So, you know, so if you feel left out and you seem to be finding yourself sewing alone, we have the IAQ. No one understands your quilty excitement for all things fabric. We have the IAQ. The local groups are too far away. They don't fit your schedule. That was my problem. I was always missing out because my kids took up my time and their schedules, of course, came before mine. And while this is looked as a hobby, you know, it's 100% needed for our mental health, especially right now. Yes, Cindy, I can hear you laughing at that one. Yes, 100%. And there are members in here. Cindy is a member, and Lucy is a member if she's popped on. But yeah, if there's anything in here that I need to clarify or you know, describe a little bit better, I am happy to do that. So this is our quilt that is coming up, and so excited for that one. No half square triangles, no points to match. It's all, it comes together pretty quickly. You do have to match your intersections, but those are easier to do than dealing with points. So just know that.
That's
Yeah.
just around the corner. Where's the material list?
I'm going to have to see when that one comes out. I believe
July, you said.
July. Yep, July. So you'll have a month to pick your materials out, I believe. So yeah. And then we've got the Pick a Quilt, which is starting soon. So these materials list have been is announced. So these are up, and so you can gather everything prior to us getting together with our sew day. So we are trying an all-day sew day with 3 check-ins during that day. So you can pop in and out, show us your progress, ask questions, but this one will be a lot of fun. I have made both the Saturday afternoon quilt. I believe Simple Simon and Company designed that one. They were one of our designers one year. I've made this one and it's super cute. I actually made it for a donation quilt and it sewed up quick. And then this one of the Trip Around the World, this one is actually, that quilt is mine. And actually that was from a swap that we did in the IAQ. So everybody sent in strips of fabric. We divided them out, send them back out to everybody. And this is what I made with my strips, which became a pattern in the group. So every strip is very different, comes from around the world. I think we did have one person in France that had joined that one. And then, so it's a lot of fun. So even though, you know, they look mixed up, in the end, this kind of pattern works great for scraps. So Hilma says, Pick a Quilt, the yellow one. Is it applique? Yes, Hilma. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna blow this one up and it might get a little blurry, but you can see it a little better. So the circles, I believe, are just like a fusible applique. And then the center, if you look around the center, there is a ruffle. And so we will talk about in the group how to make that ruffle happen, or use like a zigzag, a rickrack around those flowers. So super cute. I mean, that's like a charm pack right there for the smaller squares, and then the larger squares with the applique flowers. So super cute, super cute. And that one is, I don't recall the designer's name, but it is Cute Quilt Patterns. That is her site. So yeah, yeah, way cute.
But are the material lists up or no?
Yep, for the Pick a Quilt, they are. They went up, let me look really quick, and this might actually give everybody an idea of what it looks like behind.
But where they are.
Yeah. Oops, that's the community and I'm not logged in.
We know how confused I am.
That's helpful. Yeah, so here is a quick look inside. And so you have your dashboard. And so every month we have an iQuilters show. That one is something new that I started. So here's the Pick a Quilt right here. So our latest activity. So you can go right there, Cindy, to grab it. It's got a link to the gallery. It's got a link to the forum so you ask questions. It's got our calendar up here with a link to the calendar. You can look. And then these are our 4 projects. And then if you click on these, it'll take you to the project where you can download the pattern from there.
Okay, got it.
And then you've got, you know, we've got a tracking sheet for this. And all the patterns are from the previous designers in the archives. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. So if anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to answer or clarify. But again, you know, this is just part of keeping our sewing projects moving forward and surrounding ourselves with people that understand quilting, love everything fabric, and give you the support that you need throughout the year. So it's really about year-long support and guidance. So you can, you know, participate in a community that doesn't overwhelm you, supports you, encourages you, and we celebrate everything that we do. So yeah, no matter it's the finished top, which our goal is just the 1 top per year. So yeah.
Hello, Becky. This is Barbara Bobbitt. I just found out that you guys were meeting this afternoon.
Hi, Barbara.
How you doing?
Good. This is recorded, so you can watch it all over again. I sent out a few reminders, but they might have gotten lost in the shuffle there. So I am unscreening myself. But yeah, let's see. I'm looking to see if there's any other questions or comments. But I thank everybody for joining me during the Orphan Project Challenge. And again, that'll go on for another couple weeks. I'll be in there. So continue to work, continue to post, continue to share and encourage everybody else. Just giving you an opportunity to know that, you know, I also offer the online quilt group. And so that is another way you can participate with quite a few of the people that are in here already, because they are members and dip over back and forth. So yeah. Is there any other questions or comments or suggestions, ideas, whatever? You'd have to unmute yourself if you want to speak, or you can just pop it in the comments. So thank you for all your ideas and the fun. Marilyn, it's been great. So yeah, thank you for participating for sure. Yeah, so I think that is it. We are past our hour, so I don't want to keep you any longer because your probably sewing machine is waiting for you. When I click on units, I only get 2 units. Yeah, Joni, I need to go back and push all that stuff and reorganize it. So all the videos are there, but they're not laid out in the units. So I'm going to be doing that in the next couple days. So you might see those pop in. I try not to I'll try not to flood the everything in there with those, because they do pop up as the latest discussion, so it gets a little messy. But yeah, they are easier to find when they're in the units, so I will be organizing that. Yeah. What was the PDF? Oh, I need to look at that because I clicked on that today and it's not linked any longer, so I need to upload it. I believe it might be in the files section. The link is just incorrect, so you can look in the files on the side, and that has the files as well. They're just not organized into the units yet. So yeah, so I'll do that, so you guys, when you go back to visit, you can pick up anywhere. Yeah. All right, I hope this was helpful on, you know, understanding different ideas of getting your sewing projects, continuing them moving forward, and then understanding like what options there are to help you continue that after this. Helma, thank you for clapping. It is a lot of fun. Yay! So with that said, I appreciate everybody taking a little bit of time today, or a lot of time today, to visit with me. Again, if you got any questions, drop them in the comments in the group, because I think once this closes down, it won't have any more comments, but I will be uploading it to Facebook shortly. So yeah, so there is that. Okay, with that, I will say goodbye to everyone and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the weekend. Yes, hopefully lots of sewing going on. So we will see you guys later. Thank you.